who are listed here, and I will talk about them just in a minute. And the talk we are going to give is about AI for interlinearization and POS tagging and teaching linguists how to fish. So yeah, it looks like it's a bit, oh, okay, here it looks like it. Yeah, so the idea for this talk originated in the, after Machine in the Loop workshop that took place at the University of Alberta in November 2023. And we had, as participants, we had 3 documentary linguists, 2 computationally minded linguists, and I will explain what I mean by that in a second, and 2 computational linguists. So we had 3 perspectives and 3 backgrounds, and I would say 3 skill sets in one room. So the first group is documentary linguists, and these are Olga Lovic, Alexandra Smith, and Inge Gine. And they know a lot about the languages we work with, and these are Dene Sutline, and Blackfoot. And they have long-standing relationships with language communities. Some of them are like decades and more. And also, Alexandra is actually a member of a Blackfoot language community. So the second group was computationally minded linguists. And these are Katie Schmiller and me. And so I call ourselves as like linguist who doesn't afraid to code, who do not afraid to code. But yeah, so we have some coding skills. We understand language structure well enough, and we also can figure out many coding stuff on our own. But sometimes we just need a little more guided, like case-specific help. And the third group, you may find some of the faces familiar on these slides, is our computational linguists, and these are Sarah and Antti. And they are computational linguists who mainly work with low resource and endangered languages. So we had all these 3 perspectives in one room. And so we had documentary linguists and computational linguists, but also we found, like Katie and me, we found ourselves as a great intermediary between the 2 groups, because sometimes the languages these groups speak are different. So yeah, we found ourselves like, well suited for this role. And the goals of our workshop were first to introduce documentary linguists to some basic machine learning and natural language processing. And this includes just basic, terms, not like actual programming and stuff. And also to provide computationally minded linguists with machine learning skills relevant to indigenous language research and resource development, and to apply new knowledge in practice by completing a small machine learning project. So we had 2 teams, the Blackfoot team and Dene team, and also our organizers were helping us to achieve our goals during this workshop. And let me quickly introduce the languages we work with. So the Blackfoot belongs to the Blackfoot language belongs to Algonquian language family, and it is spoken in Alberta and Montana. And it has approximately 5,000 speakers. It is a polysynthetic language, and morphemes display considerable allomorphy in Blackfoot. So it complicates some things a bit. And Dene Sutline belongs to Dene language family, and it is spoken across several provinces in Canada. And it has approximately 10,000 speakers, maybe less, maybe more. And it is highly synthetic as well, and it is fusional, and especially when it concerns with verbs. So the Blackfoot team goal was to train a model for automatic interlinearization of Blackfoot text. And the Dene Sutline team goal was to train a model for part of speech tagging of Dene Sutline of our corpus. And for the Blackfoot team used transformer deep learning model. And what they found out is that consistent and frequent inflectional morphemes and frequent stems were recognized well. Surprise. but also inconsistencies in glossing and like they naturally affected the accuracy of the model, and also allomorphy and ambiguity inherent in the language kind of interfered with the quality. And for the Dennis Utliner team, we used CRF model. The overall accuracy of the last iteration we had was 73%. And certain features, like during future engineering, helped us to get a better recall for verbs or nouns, depending on like what we needed more. And also code switching actually in the dataset affected the accuracy significantly, because we have not only sentence level, but also word level code switching. And we realized that actually first we need to have language recognizer that would, kind of sort English words and mixed words from the Dene words, and only then we can efficiently POS tag them. However, these are not the results I want to focus on during this talk. So we think that the results that deserve even more attention and deem more interest are the kind of the workshop and getting together results. And so the thing that we actually, like the problems that we face often, linguists and computationally minded linguists, is that there are like seemingly lots of guides on the internet on how to train your model. There are lots of articles about ML models, application in low resource settings, and ready to use pipelines. However, although they are all there, they are not always helpful when you work with low resource languages. And the reality is that there are like few meaningful guides on ML application in real case scenarios, not IMBD movie reviews datasets. And lack of the guides applicable to low resource settings and indigenous data settings. And many articles have no source code still, and like we cannot use it as a reference. And there is sometimes a misunderstanding of what actually linguists may need. So what is offered often, like even if you're willing to learn some computational stuff, what is offered is like many formulas, many explanations, theoretical on how certain models work. However, it doesn't always, it doesn't always help you to train your own model. Like you can theoretically understand it, but still struggle to train something on your own. And so low resource linguist starter pack is actually very, yeah, I call it this way. So it usually consists from messy corpus, if any corpus at all. Yeah, small amount of tagged data. And again, if it is consistently tagged, it's a win, but not always. And we also have inconsistent spellings. We have dialectal variations. We have scarcity of resources sometimes on the language, so no documentation on a given language, and no basic preprocessing tools for a given language, because not all the tools that are, that work for major languages work for the indigenous ones, and I talk about polysynthetic languages. And yeah, so the questions we really have is not like theoretical concepts behind some models, but okay, so I have this data in the ELAN. So how can, like, what format should I convert my data so it can, be used later on? So can I import my text back to ELAN after we are done? Or also how small can we go dataset wise? And also, like, if our data is super messy, is it even okay to proceed, or we can just, sit and cry and, forget about any machine learning possibilities? So yeah, and also very important question, how to keep our indigenous language data safe from OpenAI, for example, that was mentioned before, not only OpenAI, but the thing. Yeah, and so what we really need, as we discussed it with documentary linguists and Katie and me, we need simple yet effective solutions, and solutions sometimes for the problems that are already solved for major languages. So POS tagging, tokenization, lemmatization, and stuff that, considered like, oh yeah, we already solved it, let's do something more fancy and cool. But no, reality is this. Sometimes, like, we need to start from scratch sometimes. And also we need more information relevant to the training from language point of view, like from exact one, not English or any other major ones. It's just not helpful. And we also need infrastructure that keeps indigenous language data safe. And for example, in Denisutini case, it was the situation when we needed to keep the data on the university server under the ethic commission requirements. So what we figured out we do not actually need, and I mean here that this is not essential, not essential. We don't need cutting edge models and solutions often. If we have a good enough CRF model, it's fine. I mean, it already saves us so much time. And also, we don't always need theoretical concepts behind each model. And we also don't need BA degree in computer science. I was offered it actually twice that I was told that I cannot learn any machine learning before I get the BA in computer science. I proved it wrong. And yeah, so, and I don't want you to misinterpret it as unwillingness to learn these things, because I really, when I have time and mental resources, I want to read more, and I want like about these things, and I want to, have more knowledge about this. But it's not always the things that are like the first things you have to learn to do some things on your own. So what we found out is that linguists actually can learn the skills they need. Everything they needed, or we needed, is like a guide on machine learning that starts from the linguist starting point. So like we have a messy data, what to do? So we just texted Sarah that, okay, we have this corpus in Elon, what should we do next? So this was the starting point. And we also, like, workshop structure actually helped a lot. I know after COVID, we are mostly like, meeting in Zoom now, and like at least it's very frequent, but sometimes getting into one room or probably even in one Zoom room is very, very important because it builds trust between the research teams, because documentary linguists, they care a lot about language data safety and how it is used, and if all the ethical considerations are, if you consider everything that is important for language speakers. And it also, like being in one room, actually, it makes the gap between decision and implementations very small, because sometimes we just got a problem and documentary linguists are there to fix it for us quickly and we can move on. So, I mean, if wouldn't for the workshop, we would, spend several meetings for it, just to solve some problems. And yeah, every group brings their strengths to the table. So yeah, this is kind of obvious. And what are the learning outcomes? So since we had different backgrounds, every group had different outcomes. So our group of computationally minded linguists figured out better understanding of feature engineering. So we got better idea how we can convert our knowledge about the languages into use, into actual use in the model. We also realized that sometimes we have to simplify some things before training. So maybe go with less tags, but better precision. And some things you need to adapt better for the model to be able, to capture the idea. And we also, like, we realized that we were always very close to actually, be able to train our models, but all we needed was just like a gentle push in the right direction with some, friendly help, actually like a safe space help, because we were able to ask stupid questions, and we weren't ashamed for that. And for the documentary linguists, the outcomes were that they were very sure that the data is used as indigenous communities wanted to. The also like collaborative nature of the workshop allowed to identify and fix the problems right away, as I already mentioned, and also learning some basic ML concepts or even vocabulary, that computational linguists use, helped linguists to communicate their needs more effectively. And yeah, also, actually, computational linguists also, learned something during this workshop, although it was oriented primarily on us. So they figured out that actually linguists have great machine learning adaptability and lots of skills relevant for machine learning and data science in general. And linguists also gain benefits from such workshops even before the model is trained, just because you clean your data, you prepare something for it. So you also gain some things from it even before the workshop has started. And also I guess one lesson is the importance of long-term relationships. So not like one-time collaboration, but long-term development together of some tools. And yes, so what are the valuable conclusions for all, and probably even like call for action for everybody else here, is that documentary linguists on board significantly speed up the development process, because I've heard many times that if you invite the linguist will ruin everything for you. I mean, into the team, but no, actually they helped a lot, and I mean, it was super fast. The implementation of every decision we made. They helped a lot. And also, computationally minded linguists, they can be taught to train machine learning models on their own. We just needed a little bit of personal guidance. And actually, this wasn't the one model I trained after that. And like, I did some machine learning before the workshop, but now I just understand better what what I do and how to do it. And I think same goes for Katie, the same things. Yeah, you knew some stuff, but now you just understand what is required better, how to prepare it, and then how to realize your plans. Yeah, and then we also wanted to mention that progress in NLP is not always about inventing new methods, because in like academic publishing is pushing us, to come up with new methods, new models, new faster things. But sometimes even application of old methods, but yet effective methods, to new languages or new language families can also be a progress. And it brings, like, each language family often brings new and unique challenges, even to old NLP tools. And yeah, so I would like to finish my talk with saying thank you to the Nitsi Tapi community in Alberta, Canada, and Clearwater River Dene Nation in Saskatchewan, Canada, and to the numerous Sharks grants that supported our workshop. So Marcy, Natosi, mahalo, and thank you.